Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Gilda Evans, bringing you the Autism Resource Podcast. This podcast and the ARP website are your one-stop knowledge and resource base for autism and much more. I'm very happy to have Rebecca Beam as my guest today. Rebecca is founder and CEO of Zavikon, a company dedicated to helping neurodiverse and disabled individuals find meaningful employment. Prior to launching Zavikon, she was a founding advisory team member launching MindSpark Incorporated, whose mission was to train and employ adults on the autism spectrum in technology careers. After MindSpark's acquisition by Autism, Rebecca became president of the U.S. operations, leading the U.S. expansion and driving growth. As a veteran of the tech sector, Rebecca's career has included leadership roles, placing individuals with high-demand skill sets for leading tech firms, including Fortune 100 and 500 brands. Rebecca believes there is a job out there for everyone, and she is passionate about opening doors for all individuals with disabilities or those who are neurodivergent to achieve career success. In 2019, Rebecca won the prestigious Milestones Visionary Employer Award. Welcome, Rebecca, and thank you so much for joining me today to discuss the wonderful work that you do.
Thank you, Gilda. I really appreciate you having me here today. And I want to thank you for the important work that you're doing to give resources to the community because it's so important. So thank you, and I appreciate you having me on.
Well, I appreciate those words, Rebecca. Thank you very much. That means a lot. So let's begin by talking about your passion for finding career-oriented employment for neurodivergent individuals and for those with disabilities.
Yes. So I started my career in recruiting and technology recruiting. And it was during that time, over 20 years of doing it, that I really had found a passion for helping people in their careers in general. And in 2013, I was tapped on the shoulder to be an advisor for MindSpark, as you read in my bio. And MindSpark was dedicated to helping individuals who are on the autism spectrum to achieve, a testing career and jumpstart their technology career. And it was at that time that it really hit me that I didn't understand why these incredibly talented individuals were being overlooked in the employment world. And it just didn't make sense. So I made it my career goal and passion to help individuals who are underserved navigate their way into career-oriented employment.
So how do you work with employers to add this population to their diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts?
Well, the good news is that a lot of employers are paying attention to diversity, equity, and inclusion. The bad news is that oftentimes it does not include disability or neurodiversity. So we are spreading the word. We're very loud and proud about helping employers understand the benefits to including individuals who are neurodivergent in their workforces. And we are very crafty in our marketing campaigns and the way that we go about reaching out to organizations. We are also members of several organizations that also help us. Zavikon is a disability-owned business enterprise, and what it's just called Adobe, and we work with Disability In, who introduces us into a lot of the organizations who have signed up to say that they are going to make disability hiring a part of what they do. So we go about it in so many different ways. I've even written snail mail letters to CEOs to say, hey, you can make a difference in this person's life. Will you please just give me a moment to talk with you? So
can you elaborate on that a little bit? Can you tell me more about the best ways to educate employers about disability and neurodiversity? And also, tell me about the crafty things that you do and the ways that you get your foot in the door. I'd really like to know more about that.
So we go about it in many different ways, but one of the ways that we try to help organizations is to look at their corporate culture and to understand their ability to support individuals who are neurodivergent or those with disabilities in their workplace. And the one thing that we really try to convey to these organizations is that they're already giving accommodations. And if they're not, they should be. Because an accommodation is simply something that sets somebody up for success. So, in the perfect world, we'll go in and do a culture evaluation. We'll get to know how much their employees know or how educated they are about neurodiversity. And then we go in and we help them make the subtle changes that they need to make to become neurodiverse friendly. And it all starts with the way they recruit. Right? So it starts with the job description. Is it attracting somebody for their skills? Or does it have things in there that are not relevant to the actual job? And so we start there, but it doesn't always go that way, Gilda. It's not, companies don't always have the ability to invest in a full-fledged program. So for the companies that aren't ready to do that, what I tell them is just start hiring, because Zavikon has a program that's set up to support and educate. And what I mean by that is once we place an individual in a job, we will come in with our career coaches and support the hiring managers, the coworkers. We educate about neurodiversity and what the diagnosis is, what the individual, who they are, what their accommodation needs are, how they can be the most successful in the job. And we are there for 90 days and sometimes longer to make sure that they have the support necessary and they feel confident and can manage the individual effectively. We feel like we're setting everybody up for success, and that is our goal. So for an organization that doesn't have the ability to build a full-fledged program, I don't want that to stop them, because I do believe once you hire one, you can hire another person, because we are going to support you. And it's actually not that difficult. Zavikon really looks at the individual that we're placing, and we try to focus on their talents and skills and place them in the right job where their passions can be applied and they're going to love what they do. So if they just have those little supports around them from the employer, they're going to do a great job.
So speaking about supports from the employer, tell me a little bit more about the particular accommodations that you suggest that the employers implement in order to achieve success for the neurodivergent and the disabled individuals that they might hire. And what would it look like for a company that is able to put in a full-fledged, robust program, as you described, versus those companies that can't quite afford that and maybe just start out a little bit more modestly?
Well, it really is individualized. We are all individuals. So somebody might have sensory issues. So if they have sensory issues and need to be seated in a quiet area, or maybe the lighting is a problem for them. Overhead fluorescent lights, not many people I know like them, but some are more sensitive.
I sure don't.
Yeah. So some are more sensitive than others. So we suggest that they put them in a section of the office where the lights may be dimmed or off, and maybe a lamp or natural lighting. These are very simple accommodations. Some people prefer written communication versus verbal, or vice versa. So we, again, look at the individual because everybody is different. And we try to outline that prescription for success so that the employer can easily implement these for the individual in the workforce, in the workplace, and put them in, a section of the office, or whether they're working remote, give them the tools that they need to be successful. Every single person needs that. Can't argue it. So, in terms of the question about the large scale programs, I do recommend for larger organizations to look at their company culture. I mean, they're already doing it in terms of eliminating bias in hiring. They educate their staff, and they have to, around sexual harassment. I do believe that this should be part of the education process, at least for management, but I would propose it for everybody. Not to mention that when you educate your teams about management of individuals who might have differences, it helps them be better managers, better peers, and it becomes, a situation where people overall become more effective in their jobs.
Definitely. I totally agree with you about that. So at this point, I want to ask you, is there anything that we haven't covered that you would like to add? And also, what do you think is the most important takeaway for our listeners to remember from our conversation?
Well, there's two. So if you're an employer, you can do this. You just have to open your doors. We will support you and we will help you be successful. If you're a job seeker, you can do this. Just, work with, there's many firms out there who are helping individuals navigate their way into employment. I know it can be frustrating at times to be turned down or not to hear back, but keep at it, keep trying, reach out to Zavikon because we will help you. I cannot promise every person that comes to us that we're going to be able to find them employment, but what I do promise to everybody who comes to us is we will do our very best to help them.
So on that note, how can our listeners reach you if they have questions or if they want to know more?
Sure. They can go to our website, which is www.zavikon, that's Z-A-V as in Victor, I-K-O-N.net, or they can reach out by email at info@zavikon.net.
Well, thank you so very much, Rebecca, for your time and for sharing some very useful information with us today.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
If you like what you hear, please subscribe to the podcast. You can find it on Apple iTunes, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and other popular platforms. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And you can always access us and other great resources on our website, www.autismresourcepodcast.com. I want to thank our listeners for spending part of their day with us. This is the Autism Resource Podcast, and I'm Gilda Evans, reminding you to take care of yourself and that special person in your life.